All right, everybody, it is Tara Boothby and Megan Just-Mancini, and we are heading into June 2022. Lots of things changing, lots of changes over the past 2 years, but here we're heading into summer, and the summer vibe is interesting.
Yes.
I do feel it. Like I feel the summer vibe. People are looking forward to summer.
Yeah. Things start to get more positive, a little lighter, a little easier. Yeah.
Yeah, I think too, one of the things that I kind of notice is some of my clients that have been consistent through COVID are feeling a bit better, and some of them are saying maybe I'll take a little breathing space from therapy, slow it down, or stop for a little bit. So people are interesting. Our energy is shifting. We're anticipating maybe what is all this change going to look like. People are traveling or thinking about traveling, or thinking if they're worried about traveling. Like there's a lot of different emotion going on right now.
Especially with restrictions being lifted, and there's like lovely to have some normalcy, pre-COVID normalcy, if I can call it that, coming back. But then there's still, I get like a vibe or an air of apprehension, like how
Yes.
far do we take this? What is safe? What isn't safe? What's complacency? What's adjustment? There's a lot of question marks right now.
Yeah, it is interesting. And then with the allergy season and people are masking, and there's still this sort of like shouldn't be, like if I cough in public that's a problem. So there's still a lot of the emotional psychological dilemmas that people are facing,
Yeah.
and yet there's a lot more freedom. So it's an interesting space to be in. And then we're heading back into the land of the living. Most people are back to work on some level in an office space.
Absolutely.
And
And
so there's all these things that we
yeah,
have to challenge ourselves with.
absolutely. Lots of exposure therapy. Well, I was sorry as I interrupted you, but I was going to say a trend that I hear from a lot of clients too is like it's lovely to get to head back into the workspace and to see people and to have, like I said, that normalcy back. But there's also, I mean, for 2 years, we've had so much fear around germs and bacteria and getting infected, quote unquote, by COVID. And there's a lot of worry in terms of what is safe. And that comes with so much stress for, I'll say, people in my life, and then also clients, in terms of like, how much should I be sanitizing my laptop and my keys and my phone and my space and it comes with so much pressure because there's, for me, like an expectation almost like, okay, things are normal, COVID's gone, it's fine. But then there's also the expectation of we still have to stay safe, which is
Yes.
so, again, it's this limbo zone, right? And I think it's causing, well, I hear from a lot of people, not all people, but it's causing a lot of distress. I don't know if you're noticing that too, Tara.
Well, I would say that am I safe thing is a big piece for all of us,
Yeah.
no matter what, no matter your views on COVID or on vaccines or masks or any of these things. We've all been confronted with this belief we had to evaluate for 2 years. Am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe? What is
Yeah.
safety? And so that does impact us neurologically. And that's part of the flip lid thing that we've talked a lot about, or that hot brain thing, our heightened adrenal experience
Yeah.
has been this, am I safe? Am I safe?
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, COVID is more normalized. So many of us have had it, me and Megan included.
Yeah.
We've survived. We're changing our thinking. The potency of the virus seems different, or we understand it better. Something, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but it's changing. So it's like I don't have to constantly evaluate if I'm safe, but I've been doing this for 2 years, and my brain is going to do what it's been doing. So we have a neural pathway. We have this experience. Our brain just thinks that I got to keep evaluating, am I safe?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the fight, flight, freeze response has just been on high alert for 2.5 years, right?
Yeah. And we've done things. We've all changed. We've all changed and evaluated our lives. This is the closest experience to war that many people, the clients that I care for, or my friends and peers, many people haven't experienced a war environment. This is the greatest environmental trauma that some of us have ever faced.
Absolutely. And it's been chronic.
It's been chronic and long term.
Yeah.
So we've all changed.
Yeah.
We've evaluated our life, what is meaningful, what is not, what is necessary, what is not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is stressful.
Which is stressful and good. Like I think I see with people, some people have come in and there's a movement of people really evaluating what is contentment, what is priority, and how to maintain those things, how to be less busy, how to eat family dinner, how to plug into the relationships that are important or plug out of the relationships that aren't.
Yeah.
How to be grateful to go into an office space.
Yeah. And I think that comes with, or something that I've heard kind of a general theme, I guess, from many of my clients is, while that's beautiful, like I talk about like the silver linings with COVID, you know, ever the optimist. I try to find the, you know, these silver linings that come, but I think something that I notice that I see a lot of people struggling with in reevaluating what life looks like is self-care. And it's knowing, how do I care for myself when, I mean, maybe over, you know, 40, 50, 60, 20, whatever, however many years, having difficulty with it, and then being thrown into a global pandemic.
Yes.
Where so much is just like the rug was pulled out from under us, and we've all kind of been floundering to figure life out. That it's, what is self-care? Is self-care something that I should do? Is it a waste of time? Is it selfish? Like, there's a lot of challenge in that realm.
I agree. And and then there's some negative view on self-care right now that troubles me, because self-care is not a four-letter word.
Yeah.
It's not a problem, and it's not a superficial thing. Sometimes taking care of ourselves superficially is very, very good for us and very, very important. Case in point, we've all been wearing pajamas for the past 2 years, and our bodies have changed. Like my body, I've been very open and honest about my pandemic 15 to 20. And so it's like there's a psychological dilemma
Yeah.
of going out there and you know, buying clothes that our body feels good in so that we can have body positivity. And then those things to take care of ourselves when we're feeling anxious driving on the road to work, that it's good to make sure we have our stash of herbal tea, or Friday we pick up a Timmy's as a reward on the way to work, because those things matter. A little gravy off the top, you know, that's an old saying. The good old boys would say. It's like, we're not workhorses. We can't stay stuck in our homes. So what are some of those things that we do to celebrate and reward ourselves?
Yeah. Nourish our souls, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I, you know, like in Googling self-care, if I can say that, not that maybe I probably have actually at some point, but you know, it's like, take a bath, do your nails, and I love taking baths. I love doing my nails. Unbeknownst to what my feet look like right now, but but it's also figuring out, it's not doing the 6 steps that Google say is self-care. Self-care for everybody looks different. Nourishing our own souls, nourishing our minds, nourishing our bodies, equally important. However, for you and me and you out there who's listening to this video, it's going to look different, and that's okay.
Yes.
There's no prescription for self-care, right? Or
there's no prescription, and buying yourself a coffee doesn't make you feel better about yourself. The self-love and self-compassion, the intrinsic shifts in motivation is what's important. I also notice with myself and with clients that we were so busy before COVID. And so now when people are re-emerging here and we're all like coming out of our basements, and you know, the light is shining on us, we're having that what is it, Plato's analogy of the cave. We're coming out and we're seeing the world in a brand new way. Can we ever go back to the way we were before the pandemic? Hopefully not.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden it's like, boy, I was so busy before the pandemic. These are the ways I wasn't taking care of myself.
Yeah.
I wasn't buying clothes that I feel good in. I wasn't doing my eyebrows, or I wasn't
getting enough sleep or exercising.
Yeah. Or I was overdoing it.
Yeah.
I was fixated on my diet and micromanaging it to a point that I was sucking all the joy out of life.
Yeah.
And now I eat carbs.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is.
Yeah.
Those shifts, and embracing the shift of thought and then acting on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, I mean, giving myself permission to know that all of this shift of thought is valuable,
Mm-hmm.
and inspire change behavior.
Yeah.
And
And
then,
notice,
yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and noticing with that change of behavior, how that feels, how you feel emotionally, personally, energetically in your relationships, like being intentional to notice how those changes in behavior are impacting you, because it's easy to go through life on cruise control. I think all of us know
Yeah.
that. I certainly know that, where it's just on one thing after the other, right? And so to be intentional about noticing the positive shifts, and for that matter, negative shifts, like this isn't working for me and it's not healthy, then you can create a space where you sustain, like self-care. It's awesome to have a bath. It's awesome to have a coffee. All these things are important, but it's also even more awesome to create a lifestyle of self-care. You can work hard and fuel your soul at the same time, right?
Yeah. And so a lifestyle of self-care, self-love, self-compassion to heighten our contentment.
Yeah.
And I do these things because I love myself.
Yeah.
And I love myself because I do these things.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody can drive through Tim Hortons and grab a Timmy's and drink it down and not taste it. But it's like when we start to make this internal shift of like my value to myself, and those experiences of having a bubble bath, or buying the good cheese, sitting on your deck, these little things, or taking the long drive sometimes, because our enjoyment matters. Enjoying our life matters.
Yeah. Pleasure is important.
Yeah. And emerge. Let's all emerge.
Mm-hmm. Bigger, better, stronger.
Yeah. And I think that, like, I don't know why I have this written down, but I just think of COVID hair, and it's like, it's just this thing of like, we all did it. There'd be times when I'd be like, I can't remember the last time I washed my hair.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun too, to do some of these things, like be a little slobby, or,
wear pajama pants during sessions because they can't see them. Yeah. But Tara, silver lining of COVID hair, my hair's never been longer. So there we go.
Good for you.
Thank
Good
you.
for you. And it's just this thing though, like, okay, baby steps, and knowing that actually getting into a rhythm of like washing our hair and that process.
Yeah.
I wash my hair every other day again now. And I was like this week, I'm like, I used to wash my hair every other day all the time.
Without even thinking about it. Isn't that funny?
And it's just interesting to get slow and notice these things. It's changing, going back to some of the things that are important, and releasing some of the things that aren't.
Yeah.
It's all good identity.
Yourself up holistically.
And cultivating our own humanity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We deserve it. And I just, in adding to that, maybe trajectory, but a piece that I hear, we talk about, like, there's negative connotations that come with self-care, and something I hear a lot, particularly from super busy students and parents. I don't have time. I have to give. I don't have time for me, right? And I get it. Life can feel that way. I certainly have times where I feel that way too. We can't give from an empty cup.
We can't give from an empty cup. And what my definition of, I think too, it's like telling somebody to do self-care can be misattuned. And just like, oh, you should take care of yourself. And I think of a situation where I told somebody, what if you just took a bath the next time I saw them, and this person will watch this vlog. They're like, I just wanted to tell you that I thought about you all week, and I thought, fuck you, Tara Boothby. Take a bath. But it's, if we're not really hearing a person's pain, and we're not meeting ourselves or this person in a vulnerable way, and we're not really stepping into self-love and self-compassion, I'm not able to understand what you actually might need.
Yeah.
And that, maybe a bath isn't what you need, or maybe you really don't have time for a bath, but what how do we honor you?
Yeah.
And two, it's like, if somebody's just telling us to do something good for ourselves, are they just trying to bypass us?
Mm-hmm. Is it the
So
band-aid of just go for a run and everything will be great, which
yeah,
certainly is extremely invalidating and also not helpful.
yeah, just
Yeah.
fix it. It's like bilateral stimulation cools down a heart rate, you should just start running. Where it's like, no, could I, like, actually my self-care is asking you to just love and understand me and say, boy, your life sucks right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
So
let's
baby steps, baby steps. The wellness wheel is an easy evaluation. If we're like, I'm feeling imbalanced, how am I doing socially, emotionally, intellectually, physically, occupationally, all the things like job, all that stuff, and spiritually.
yeah.
Take some time, notice these parts, and let's just love ourselves through emerging.
Emerging from the cave, bigger, better, stronger, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you haven't checked out Plato's analogy of the cave, it's well worth Googling. All right. All right, Megan, thank you. Anything you want to add? I think we're kind of
I think we're good. I'm tapped out.
I'm tapped out. I'm going to go do some self-care.
Self-care.
I'm going to eat something. I'm going to go eat something.
I'm hangry, so me too.
You seem angry. It's unbearable.
I'm awful. Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.